Morning, and thank you very much for joining us. This is the Western Spectrum, a program that comes to you every Monday from 8 to 9. Today you realize we have actually delayed a bit due to some technical issues. First, our guest, the Deputy Governor of Kisumu County, Dr. Matthew Zawili, confirmed up until today in the morning that he'll actually be attending this particular show, and just around 7:30, 7:40, I received a call from one of his handlers to the effect that he might not be in a position to actually come to this show because the PS for Public Health is around, and he will be receiving the PS in his office, and then of course from there he will be accompanying the PS on a number of activities around Kisumu County. That is a story, of course, we'll be keeping a keen eye on, and of course you can trust us that indeed we'll be giving you details as and when they unfold. Coming back to our topic of discussion today, we have the Executive Secretary for NAT Kisumu City branch, the newly elected executive branch, George Obona, who was just elected in the office last week. And of course, he has a number of issues he says he wants to discuss as pertains education, not just in Kisumu County, but of course the sector as a whole. And of course, we'll be looking at some of the issues that have actually, or development that have actually been witnessed last week here amongst them, the statistics that are actually given by the CS Interior Kipchumba Murkomen. When he was in Kisumu County, he did say that about 70%, the government has actually realized about 70% transition to grade 10, and then subsequently what followed was the directive by the president that each and every child who sat for grade 9 and was supposed to be placed for grade 10 should actually pack their things and go to their respective schools, regardless of whether they have school fees, regardless of whether they have uniform, so then they can actually have that 100% transition. Initially, the CS Interior had actually instructed Ngao officials at the very basic level to ensure that each and every child is actually transitioning to grade 10. So those are some of the issues that you want to look at now, because of course the 100% transition comes with the challenges. Last week we were discussing the issues of facilities in terms of books and the personnel to ensure that indeed grade 10 and the senior schools can actually be get what they're supposed to be getting from a junior senior school. And of course, this is a conversation that we want to continue this morning with George. George, congratulations and welcome. First and foremost, the mere fact that the president actually pronounced himself on the fact that there must be 100% transition from grade 9 to grade 10. That's a good thing.
And I want to say, as those who are running issues matters education, and particularly the teachers' welfare, we are concerned that when we have learners who have actually been given opportunity to transit to the next level, it is our pride as teachers that those learners be given opportunity to move to the next level. So 100% transition is the best thing, best policy that the government came with. But we want to say that it is not just 100% transition. It should be 100% transition with quality. Like for instance, when you say that children who have had challenges could not carry their luggages and move to schools. When they move to schools, most of them, they don't have uniform. They don't have the basic needs. In as much as they will go to schools, but their morale will be down. So we want the government to come in, because I know the government has capacity, that how many of these children are not able to meet the basic needs, to get the uniform, even to get the school fee, to move to the next level, so that the government can come in and take care of such learners. I believe the government.
Basically talking about identifying deserving children and allocating resources to some of these children so that then they can actually transition to the next class. This is a debate that has been on for quite some time. The question has been that where do we get the balance? Teachers know these students or learners quite much better, right? But we have so many bursary funds or funds that have actually been set aside from the constituency level, ward level, the governor's office, and of course the county MP's position. How then do we harness all these resources that are actually available to ensure that indeed, in conjunction with the teachers, that indeed these kids can actually have an opportunity to continue their studies.
Should have been taken back to the teachers, because we are the people who have been these learners, say for instance, for 9 years.
The longest, yes.
The longest, and we have had challenges seeing them go through the learning process, and we understand their backgrounds. So even as we go out there to look for appraisals, to get to know who are the deserving learners, if that could be taken back to teachers, we really tell you we have had so and so, this boy, this girl, for the number of time, and we know the challenges. Award this one bursary. But then when it is taken away from us, then out of the school setup, then there's another committee set out somewhere else to now go do the vetting. Those who have never had opportunity to interact with these learners and their families.
Is this a conversation that NAT and other bodies that are actually dealing with teachers, both of course in the junior, primary, and of course senior school, need to have a conversation with of course TSC and the government and all line stakeholders, so that then we find a common ground where we don't have these disruptions in terms of people, in terms of learners are supposed to be transitioning to 10th grade, but they can't do so because they are in a school. And I'll give you an example, George. Just last week, averagely, each and every day, we're receiving about 10 learners that have not managed to get school fees or even just the basics to actually enable them to go to school. So this is a conversation that you guys can actually take up and with the line institutions.
That if teachers were to be involved in this debate and on the best way to find a better way forward, we do it perfectly well. And I want to let you know, this country has been overtaken by politicians. Politicians have interest, and we are asking ourselves, what interest do they have on managing resources that are supposed to be used on learners when they themselves don't understand the background of these learners? Of course, there are the people who are controlling the resources. But then if they would only give us a space to help them identify the learners, then they give us the resources. We don't have any problem. But you see, even in the bursary committees, if you go to some constituencies, somewhat, you will not even find teachers on the panel. They have just collected their cronies, those who are supporting them, and those who have divergent opinions are now being listened to. So we are saying as teachers, can we get our priority right? Can we give the sector players an opportunity to help shape up the future of those that get dealt with, of those that understand best? Then the resources, those who are not the resources, cannot place the resources, knowing very well that they won't miss it, and no person who undeserved gets it, because we as for us teachers, we treat our learners equally.
George,
and so I'm David.
David, yes. David. Sector players, not being one of them.
Yes.
The argument has been that when you are crying out for what you want, David, is that you always cry out for what benefits teachers. You NAT and KUPPET and other institutions and organizations tend to forget about this key element that is actually the learners. When are we going to see you guys aggressively discussing issues of the learners in terms of ensuring that first, even as we agitate for our resources as teachers, the personnel involved in teaching, that indeed these learners, also their capitation, first arrives on time, two, those that cannot afford to get resources actually go to school, and they have good environment through which they can actually access this education.
Not as a motto. Our motto is service justice.
Yes.
It is service to the child and just to the teacher. But you see, what has happened in the recent past is that, when our commandate is now being withdrawn from us, we teach the children in class. We have always cried for resources to be given to schools so that our learners can get proper education. The learning resources, the books, the capitation, the facilities, those are for the learners. But now then, when that is coming out are now being taken by everyone else, then what is left for us? Now to fight for ourselves also. So once the service for the child is assured, then it is now justice to the teacher who is teaching the child.
Yes.
So we are still on it. I want to tell you that teachers are having the learners at heart, and you will always hear teachers after every examination and result released, the teachers are very happy when the learners perform. And in fact, I want to tell you, you have had the government issuing policies against extra classes, against remedials. And teachers still want to go to classes to teach. To teach who? To teach the children who have not been theirs. Teachers are the only professionals.
David, what is the motivation? Remedial classes. What is the motivation?
The motivation is do well.
Yes.
But because you know what? Teachers are being appraised. After every year, they are being appraised. So if you don't produce results, your appraisal will rank low. And you know that is what we use even to ask for promotions, even to go anywhere elsewhere. And we ask, what have you done as a teacher? You say, look at my results. It speaks for itself. So the motivation behind us going for even extra classes is to get well appraised, and also to see that our learners also succeed in whatever we teach them in class.
Fantastic. Being well appraised, of course, means that the necessary facilities must actually be there. The personnel must actually be there. You are in a body that now fights for the wellness of teachers, and of course ensuring that indeed, even as they go about the activities, they are well remunerated, the working environment is actually up to date, and everything. You've just been elected into the office. Yes. What are your priorities as you get into this office?
I have not been elected. I have just been re-elected.
Re-elected, yes.
I was serving the last regime. We did our election last Saturday, and I was elected. I want to say of my team, I was the only one who was re-elected. The rest of my members flopped.
You tell me for a reason.
Yeah, I will tell you for a reason. And I want to tell you that teachers are speaking. And those of us who are in leadership, those of us who go outside there to serve the teachers and to serve the masses, I want to tell you from what happened during our elections, the teachers are speaking. And what they are speaking should be taken even to the rest of the citizenry, that the led needs to be served. The led need to be given their rights. And I want to assure my teachers, our members from Kisumu City Branch, that we are going to do it. We have done it before. By them electing me, that was their reassurance that they have faith in me. And I want to tell them that the activities that we have been doing before to fight for their labor rights at their labor space, and also to get them be involved in the running of activities of this country. Because if anything, we also have a right to participate in governance of this country. I think we'll fight for that space for them, and even interact with the country government, the local leaders, the members of parliament, and even the national government, so that teachers can get space to participate.
Priority area. Someone will be asking, yes, you'll fight for that space, but what are the priority areas? Because when you look at now, we had this discussion last week, and I was on the ground over the weekend, and teachers were saying that some of these facilities are not there, some of these books are not there, and you are going into some of these classes, and you're not sure of what you're supposed to be doing. I spoke to one young teacher in Busia over the weekend, and he was telling me you're walking into class with information that you've actually gathered online. You're not sure what exactly you're supposed to be doing, because you're yet to receive the final details of what you're supposed to be doing in school.
Now, and I want to really say that it's been a challenge as CBE, the Corporate Based Education, matures. We are meeting challenge any other year. Like for instance, this year we are getting to senior school. For the first time, that our brothers in senior school are meeting CBE for the first time. And you know how many years? Over 13 years. 13 years since CBE was brought in. So they're meeting for the first time. So it is a new thing to them. The same way our teachers also had that challenge when it was first introduced. So I want to challenge the government that let them provide resources. Let them provide facilities to our teachers. Let them be taken for retooling in as many times as it can be possible. Let our teachers understand that what is required in the learning areas and the computers required that they need to have before they start in classrooms. Otherwise, just letting the materials to be on the internet and soft copies, whereas some of our learning institutions have challenges of internet connectivity. I think that one is a challenge that should be addressed as a matter of yesterday. So we must ask the government to do it and do it immediately.
We have also walked around and seen some of these private schools adopting digital learning, whereas public schools, and of course given the scarcity of resources in the country, most of them are yet to fully, if any, are actually yet to adopt start rolling out digital learning. How then do we move to the next level in terms of ensuring that indeed the government and the sector players, as you actually put it, sit on a table and look at ways of ensuring that, because education is quite expensive in the country, right? But digital learning basically halves the cost of learning in the school. How then do we ensure that we incorporate that so that then we continue cutting costs and allowing people to actually, access this education?
That unlike the 844 system that was there before, the private sector has really got a CBC right. And they've taken that thing. I want to tell you, you walk into our private schools around this place, you realize that they're doing much better in terms of preparedness for CBE. And it's a big challenge of the government, and because and we are asking ourselves, the government has a Minister of ICT. The government has all the resources to put things right. So we ask ourselves, where are we missing it? And we want to challenge the government. Let those of us who are in this sector be involved fully to help them reach out to do things right, and by aligning the ministries so that the Ministry of ICT works hand in hand with the Ministry of Education, so that our learning, the digital literacy, is well streamlined. Yes.
Because there was a program that saw public secondary schools get digital labs. I don't know how far that has gone, because a number of, I think the last time I counted was around 152 public schools had actually received those digital laboratories. Of course, that is a drop in the ocean.
They're still there, but as you put it, it's a drop in the ocean. We have almost 10,000 secondary schools in the country. And if you can't less than 1,000 schools with only digital labs, what about the rest? So that's why you see, even right now, when the learners were transiting from junior school to senior schools, and the secondary school were categorized to C1, C2, you found parents asking to take the children to C1 schools, because those are the schools who perhaps have super facilities, and then all of us would want to go to schools with those facilities. So it's a big challenge, and that's why we want to ask government, now that we have gone CBE way, can't we now put resources to our schools to make sure that our schools have digital ICT labs, and even our primary schools and junior schools? Because as we speak today, I want to tell my brother, if you go to our junior schools, our learners are sharp. They're doing better. And if they could be given the enough resources, I want to tell you, this country is headed the right way. Yes.
Fantastic, David. David, in conclusion, because we only have 1 minute, so the next time when I tell you to come at 8, you come early.
I will come an hour early.
Yes, yes. In conclusion, just tell us your last remarks before we wrap it up.
My last remark is to appreciate the teachers of this country and ask them to continue doing the good job they're doing to this country. The future of this country depends on how much we give out in terms of how we handle our learners in class, how we teach them, and then you then challenge other the government and those who support us, that the job we do must not be taken for granted. So I want to thank teachers. I want to thank you, the media fraternity, for having given us space as teachers, also to air our views and let the rest know that ours is just service and justice. Service to the child, justice to the teacher.
Fantastic, David. Fantastic, David. That is David Obona, the Executive Secretary, NAT Kisumu City Branch, just telling us what he intends to do, and more so his input in terms of what can actually make the sector better. We would have wished to have more discussion in terms of this particular topic, but of course we are time-barred. We expected that probably we'll start earlier. He was informed a bit late, but he managed to come. We do appreciate, on behalf of each and every person who's actually made this possible, our camera operators, Christine Adhiambo, Martin Kibuti, logistics person, Edwin Otieno, our colleague from Mayenga, who is actually ensuring that this broadcast goes live on Mayenga Digital, Philippa Miyawa, and our producer, director, Vincent Achola, and of course the management of this establishment, Mirage Palace Hotel, that continues to give us this space, and then we can have this show every Monday. We say thank you. But also I want to appreciate two fans. One is Mercy Sireka from Nambale, Busia, who keeps watching this program every other morning and appreciates the fact that appreciates what we do. Also, there's a guy from Kisumu County called as Carlos. Carlos says that he keeps watching this program. He likes what we continue bringing every other Monday morning, and he says that most definitely he wants more resources, or he wants more information around youth and leadership, and of course also politics. Of course, Carlos, this is something that we'll be doing, and you can be rest assured that of course this is a discussion that we will continue to have, both in politics, both in other sectors, so that then we continue, of course, to inform our people from this part of the country. My name is Achola Simon, and I take you back to Broadcasting House.